Well, we're here in the V8 Speed and Resto shop where there's always a lot of activity going on. We've got some guys putting together the 39 ambulance over there behind me, and behind the camera you can hear an 87 Monte Carlo being tuned. And we shoot a lot of video of that stuff. Of course, we also produce Muscle Car of the Week, but did you know that we also produce a podcast called V8 Radio? Well, now you do. V8 Radio is an automotive type podcast. It's pretty lightweight. It's hosted by myself and our esteemed co-host, Mr. Mike Clarke, a true industry guy. And it's available on iTunes or wherever you listen to podcasts for free. And we thought, hey, we'd share this with some of our video audience. And I'm going to leave you with a short section from our latest show. And you can listen to it right here. But then if you want to hear the rest of it, simply click on one of the links that you see in the description or on screen. And we will talk to you next time on V8 Radio. Well, hello, friends. It's time once again for another
zesty episode of V8 Radio.
Fantastic. A zesty episode of V8 Radio. Which, you know, I was kind of thinking flavorful adjectives myself. I was going to go with scrumdiddlyicious, but I like zesty better.
I appreciate that. Well, you know, I had Mexican today for lunch, and it's still kind of talking to me, so
yeah,
very zesty.
Well, I apparently have ice cream on the brain. So anyway, welcome to V8 Radio. It's a podcast type show where we try to talk about cars, and sometimes other things happen. I'm your host, Kevin Oeste, joined as always by our esteemed co-host, Mr. Mike Clarke. And
howdy, sir.
Absolutely, howdy to you too.
Mm-hmm.
And howdy to everybody around the world. I've been noticing, interestingly, a lot of listeners in Australia, a lot of listeners in Canada, of course, the United States. So we welcome everybody who set aside time in their day. like that's what they did.
Of course they did.
It's like those pictures from the 50s where they're all sitting around the radio, you know, in the living room.
That's what I envision every time the show comes out.
Yes, the big Zenith console. Everybody's sitting around.
That'd be perfect.
And we start the show off with an automotive trivia question. And it's fun. Sometimes it's educational. It's really just a bribery move to give something people to listen to the whole show so they can hang out to the end to hear the answer, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Because we don't know where this is going. Have you prepared a trivia question?
I have prepared a trivia question. I cannot confirm its authenticity, but it's a good question nonetheless.
Works for me. All right.
And here we go. Kevin, you no doubt have seen plenty of Corvettes in your illustrious career. Plenty of Grand Sports, Stingrays, and what have you. And you've also no doubt have seen plenty of ZR1 Corvettes.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing that is never really clear, Kevin, is what does the ZR mean in ZR1?
Mm-hmm. Well, that's a great question. And yes, everybody loves Corvette trivia. So
don't they though?
They do. That's a great one. So I'm gonna just kind of go out on a limb and say the ZR because I truly don't know, but I'm gonna say the ZR harkens back to our friend Mr. Zora Arkus Duntov, who was a brilliant engineer who came to Chevrolet with the goal of advancing the Corvette program. Him and his brother used to make the Arden cylinder heads for Ford flatheads and all kinds of cool stuff. So maybe it's Zora Racing? ZR?
Zora Racing.
That's my guess. Because I don't think it's an RPO code, you know, like LT5 or LS6. I mean,
like
I guess
like Z71.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it could be the RPO code for the super baddest Corvette. But you're suggesting it stands for something, so that's my guess.
Okay, Kevin says Zora Racing. All right. Duly noted, sir.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but
duly noted.
That's what I got.
All right. Not a bad guess.
Yeah.
Makes sense. The way you explain it, all your guesses make sense.
Well, I don't just guess willy-nilly.
I know. True. No, you definitely diagram the question.
Maybe one day I just will willy-nilly a guess. That might be kind of fun.
It works for me all the time.
Yeah, well, if we had a running scorecard, we could see how well that truly worked.
Oh, yeah, right.
All right, so I'll reciprocate with a trivia question, and I think this came out of a recent episode of Muscle Car of the Week. We were looking at a car that had a factory AM/FM stereo unit and an 8-track player, and we tend to call those things out because 60s muscle cars, true ones, didn't have a whole lot of options.
Right.
In fact, we were joking about the Hemi Dart episode where we mentioned that it doesn't have lane departure warning and, guidance and all that kind of stuff. It's a Hemi Dart, for crying out loud.
Right.
And that one had no radio. But anyway, the AM/FM radio made me think of something that I used to have in an 87 Oldsmobile. And it was AM stereo. AM stereo and FM stereo.
Really?
Yes. Oh, I know where this is going now already, just by that.
Right in the toilet.
So